A garden in Hedon. Barriers to entry. The family has natural barriers based on divine law and parental forces. Adam and Eve were to wait to consummate their marriage with God's approval, like markets have a barrier to entry. The kingdom of heaven is a self-regulating society, since, as Adam and Eve demonstrated, the only alternative is death and destruction. Barriers. Natural. A family and free market has natural barriers to entry, both absolute and relative. Divine law, natural law. God warned Adam and Eve not to eat the fruit, like it's a natural law to not violate natural rights. These are moral absolutes that do not adjust to circumstantial changes. Parental forces, market forces. Parental forces have barriers to entry like house rules, cultural traditions, or national customs. This is like a market having barriers such as economy of scale, high startup costs, or market regulations. These are relative in nature and can adjust as the free market develops over time. Barriers, distorted. Satan and the state manipulate the natural barriers to entry, both absolute and relative. Satanic law, status law. Satan lied about God's law and distorted a moral barrier to entry. Adam and Eve weren't ready for sex, but they did it based on Satan's intervention. This is like a market not being ready to transact, but for state intervention. Satanic forces, status forces. Satan's intervention with Adam and Eve distorted their relative time preference for sex. This is like the state overrides natural market forces, regulations, and signals with its own preferences. Garden of Eden, outside. Kingdom of Heaven, outside. Satan and the state's unnatural barriers create chaos and impose an extra burden on society. These violent regulations would not otherwise exist but for the state, and the cost has been felt by every generation since the fall of man. The only barriers to entry in the free market that will eventually exist will be those found under natural law and market forces.